Hi, everybody.
Good morning or good afternoon, everybody.
Whatever time it is. We're not sure whenever. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. Truman Show, right?
Right.
I really like that show because it's such a huge metaphorical movie for how society is and how we kind of mold our own reality, even when the outside forces try to just push in on us and all that stuff. So anyway, that's off topic. Welcome to Tea with D.
And A.
Hi. So first off, what is this? What are we doing today? What are we drinking today?
So we love our teas, and so definitely this is a really interesting tea that we have today. This is from the Spice Tea Merchants. They have several locations around the country, but this one actually specifically came from Delaware at Rehoboth Beach. It's called Shooting Star Tea, and I don't know if you've seen these before. These are really fascinating. So these little tea balls are actually hand-tied tea balls. So it looks really unusual when you see it at first. I'm not sure if you can see it really good there.
We're on a tripod, so we don't want to move the camera because we just got it perfect. Like, it took us like 5 minutes to make sure it was perfect.
And so as you're going to see in just a couple of minutes here, this is just starting to open up, and it's looking really pretty.
It's really pretty.
Beautiful. So I'll see if I can turn it around a little bit there. But this is called Shooting Star because it opens up into a beautiful, brilliant, colorful flower.
Keep talking.
And it's actually going to get really tall. It's going to elongate, and
Check that out.
isn't that a great shooting star? And so you never know what colors are going to open up. We are thankful to the Spice Tea Merchants for this tea. And if you have any teas that you would like to share with us, feel free to send them in to us. Go ahead and send us an email. We'll send you our information so you can send us samples of tea. And we'd love to talk about the teas that you have to offer.
Absolutely. And yeah, don't forget to put a little bit of information about you, and if you sell teas or make teas yourself, put a little bit about how the process is, and we'll definitely like to kind of boost up some of your business by sharing it, because I mean, like Angela said, we love our teas, and this is pretty much what we do every time we get together. So yeah, yay! So today we are going to talk about in episode 1, what is metaphysics?
It's a broad topic, and it's not really well understood by a lot of people yet. It's something that there is a lot of science that goes behind it. There has been a lot poured into it over the last century. There's been a lot of study that's gone into it, and yet it still seems so mystical to so many people because there hasn't been, it's not something that's taught in elementary school like your other physics classes. But if you just start with dissecting the name metaphysics, so meta means over and beyond, and then physics is the study, of course, physics.
Yeah.
Laws of physics.
Laws of physics, laws of the scientific laws of the universe. And the reason why we have chosen to talk about metaphysics during our teas is because, first of all, we incorporate it in our lives. Second, for me personally, I will not speak for Angela on this, but for me personally, I would like to shed some light upon it because I noticed in our society we tend to lump metaphysics in with paganism, and that it's only connected to anything pagan, when in fact metaphysics goes across the whole spiritual spectrum, because it is a philosophy on science and spirituality and different ways of thinking, all kind of wrapped into one cute little bundle. And, well, ginormous universal bundle, I guess I should say. And so I personally would like to kind of shed some light on it, so that way those of you who are maybe a little confused about it or don't know much about it can learn a little bit. And we don't have a whole lot of time, so it's not like we can talk about the whole thing in one episode. We're going to choose different topics like chakras and numerology and crystal gridding and sacred geometry, which is a huge one. Numerology, you're teaching a numerology class, aren't you?
I am, yes. Coming up, it'll be Thursday evenings starting September 21st.
And I wanted to say this about numerology. It's a pretty amazing type of metaphysical science, and it really is a science, because if you think about it, and you look at numerology, what it is, it's a way for us to get to know ourselves a tiny bit better. Same with astrology, the same with even going to counseling and understanding your brain better, same with biology, anatomy, all that stuff, all the different aspects of life. So how I understand it and how I think of numerology is we have already been taught that math is in everything. There's mathematical equations that make up the universe, make up different energy formulas, chemical reactions, etc., etc. So numerology is kind of the part of the programming, if you will, on how our personalities and how we came into being and what affects us and kind of assists us in being who we are here on planet in this incarnation.
Exactly. Yes. It's a great way to uncover about yourself, and then also about other places and things too. Your house address has numbers that will tell you about your house, and your car has numbers, and you'll see numbers pop up in your life, and angel numbers, karma numbers, so many different things. But it's a great way to explore, figure out what's going on in your life so that you can get empowered and move forward. And that's just one tiny aspect of metaphysics. Metaphysics also talks about reincarnation. That's a really interesting topic. And the afterlife is explained a lot through metaphysics too. And so many diverse things that are all encompassed under this umbrella of metaphysics. Dr. Paul Leon Masters has really done a lot of investigative research, and he's worked with thousands of people. He actually died last year, but he was a brilliant mind that did a lot of studies, published a lot, and he founded the University of Metaphysics, which is based in Sedona, Arizona, although people take it all over the world through their online program. But he's done a lot. I have a lot of gratitude for all of the research that he did, and Deepak Chopra as well. My goodness, all of the research that he has done. And through this research, once you start delving in and you uncover and you look at the studies and you look at the science behind the metaphysics, because there is science behind it, then you can really see how much opens up in our world, how much you have for possibilities, and how to really empower yourself to live your best life. I talk a lot about manifesting your destiny, creating your own fate, and truly you can do that, and metaphysics is what will help empower you to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. And the aspect of metaphysics and using it in your life practically through not just numerology and understanding yourself. We've all heard of the law of attraction, and there are a ton of scholars out there who have done Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, all of those types of people, even Tony Robinson and Les Brown, who are two top motivational speakers, have talked about how to manifest your own universe. And manifesting it always is about creating your own universe and taking charge into it. Now to connect it to those of you who are Christian minded, it's connecting to the Holy Spirit. Okay, so think of the metaphysical energy as the Holy Spirit, the Christed energy. Jesus used metaphysics in his healing. That's how he could put his hands on people and heal them to be blind, blind to see, healing disease and everything else. And there are people who are actually doing this today. And even in the Bible it states, "You shall do greater things than I. I will send you out amongst the world, and you shall do greater things than I." So Jesus even said we have the abilities to do these things through the Holy Spirit. So please don't let the term metaphysics scare you away because of your religious practice, because every religion uses it in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
They just call it different things.
I'm going to show you now that this has actually blossomed into quite. Right, the little, let's do
Yeah,
one
that's
more
so
little show.
pretty.
This says Spice Tea Merchants that has this tea, so it's really fun. So it has a beautiful purple flower. This one is called Shooting Star because it shoots up really tall into that great little flower there. So I'm not sure how well you can see it through the teapot, but hopefully you can. It's great
so
when you're
pretty.
in person. I was first introduced to these at the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
They have it at their Queen Tea there. But yes, with metaphysics, it is so important. With the law of attraction, that's kind of the foundation, I think, of metaphysics, is that law of attraction. Being able to create abundance in your life, naming what it is that you want. I often joke around, sort of joking, I'm sort of not joking, that I created JJ in my cauldron because I wrote a 3-page list of what my requirements were going to be. Now, I wrote it with the intention that I would not find a relationship, and I thought, if I write 3 pages, there is no way the universe is going to bring me what is on that list. Well, your words are powerful, and when you write it down, it's multiplied tenfold with the power that you're creating with that magnetism you're drawing to you. So what did it do? Immediately, boom, there was JJ, matched everything on those 3 pages except for 3 things that really didn't matter, and that we worked out, and he's a good sport about. And so
I think I need to borrow her cauldron.
it works well, and it's when you are trying to manifest, it's the universe doesn't hear the word not, can't, don't, shouldn't.
Right.
It doesn't hear those negatives. It hears the nouns and the verbs that you're writing down. So as far as JJ, I had written that I wanted him to cook. Well, he's a great microwave cook, and that's about where that goes. And I had wanted him to somebody that would enjoy shopping. Well, if it's important to me, he'll go with me, and has a good attitude about it. Those are so minor compared to all the other things on those 3 pages, and that's what I encourage people to do a lot. It's the first step of manifesting, as you write it down. So many people, one of the main things with the law of attraction is knowing what you want. So many people don't really know what you want, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
People will know what you don't like when you see it, but it's narrowing down what is it you want in your life. What do you want to draw to you? For a job, you can do it for a job, too. What type of job do you want? What type of people do you want to surround yourself with? What type of money do you want to make? Now, list it, within reason, but expand out. Don't limit yourself at the same time. So,
I suggest that
can happen.
I suggest that you take some time today. So after you're done watching this video, take some time, some quiet time, silence everything, shut your phone off, and think of 3 things, short term, 3 goals that you really want to accomplish. It could be something as simplistic as getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something as simplistic as remembering to take out the trash every Wednesday. Whatever it is, name 3 things. Write those 3 goals down and take 10 minutes a day to focus on those goals as if you already accomplished them until you do accomplish them. And just changing that mindset and that energy within yourself changes everything around. And you can even take something as gigantic as, I'm going to start a new job. I don't like my job. I want a new job, so this is my goal. And name everything that you want in that job. And see what happens. See how things start to change for you. And I noticed for myself, because I've been going through some hard times as well the last 3 years through all these major changes, and it was just getting me down. And I was getting so depressed. And if any of you are on my Facebook, you see my live videos like, I don't want to be human anymore. It was getting so bad, but I kept thinking, these are labor pains. Something beautiful is about to happen to me. And look,
Right.
Angela and I decided to really focus in on the Earth and Sky Center, and things are just starting to really, really come into place for all of us. So she's absolutely right. It's about changing your universe. Write it down because it makes things 10 times more powerful. Not only that, when you write things down, you remember them. They stay in the forefront of your mind because you're using 2 different parts of your brain to focus on this idea.
Exactly.
So that way you can manifest it, and the energy just kind of goes twofold. So that's pretty amazing.
Exactly, yes. And the other main components that lead right in with that, with metaphysics, is affirmations and meditation. One of the key foundations to creating the life that you want is meditation, and really taking that time, as you said just now, to focus in on it. Well, when you focus in on it and you slow your brain waves by slowing your breath, calming your mind, and then focusing on what it is that you want, that really is going to change your entire life. It's going to bring a sense of peace to you. When you learn that you can take calm time, when you learn that in the midst of a crisis, you can focus on your breath and center in, it's going to help the focus of your entire life. And then affirmations is the other part of that too. It's a wonderful thing to take Post-it notes and write whatever the affirmations are, which is really goal setting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really writing down what it is you want to draw in your life, what it is you want to bring out within yourself. These can be personal affirmations. I am strong. I have courage. I am happy, things like that. Or it can be physical things. I have a new car. It's coming to me now. I'm going to be driving a new Saturn. Be as specific as you want. Write it down and then post it on your bathroom mirror, because that's a place you're going to be looking every day. And not only are you looking at that, you're looking at yourself when you post it on the bathroom mirror. So it's very powerful to read it where you're seeing yourself, because you're drawing that energy, you're reflecting it back at yourself and drawing it back into yourself.
Look in your eyeballs.
Yes.
Because we as humankind, kind humans, are so tuned, especially women. Sorry guys, I'm not trying to single you out, but especially women, because we are the emotional side of the energy. We tend to focus on everybody else's needs but our own. And that does wear on you after a while. Every woman who seems balanced and wonderful will tell you, I take 30 minutes a day for myself.
Well, hello.
And so it's super important. Actually, what Angela is saying is true, because that's what I do. I have Post-its around, and I have some affirmations, and one of my favorite ones is, I am too big a gift to waste time on self-pity and sadness.
I like that. That's great.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite ones. And I am grateful for all the blessings that I have in my life, even if I cannot yet see them. So gratitude is another way to raise your vibration and use that metaphysical energy to kind of mold your universe. So no, you don't have to have a cauldron where you're throwing herbs in, eye of newt, a bat wing, and whatever else to bubble up. That's just kind of one aspect of it, and what I like to call long division. It's taking what people are doing when they're doing spell work, and this is just another aspect of metaphysics I'm only touching on today. We're not going to get into it too deeply, but it's taking the energy of these things, because everything has energy and a vibration to it. That is a scientific fact. Mm-hmm. And so it's taking the energy and vibration of these ingredients, putting them in so we can focus on our intent, because we are putting our faith in the energy of these things, adding our own energy into it, and that it will manifest and change our universe.
It's all about focusing
Which
tools.
is all about focus. They're just focusing tools. The same with doing candle magic or anything like that. So don't get so locked up in thinking metaphysics is just that. It's not. It's about connecting with the energy that connects it with everything, and having the open mind and the frame of mind to see the philosophy and science behind it. A lot of scientific theory has actually been based on metaphysical philosophy, even though scientists won't admit that.
All right. And one of the other main premises with metaphysics too is really that we are all one. Our energy, and science is showing a lot of this through quantum physics too, in that we're all one, we're all connected. They're finding that even on a gigantic level with the galaxy, they're finding that what they thought was space in between is actually matter that is 6 times greater than what we see as matter in
so
space.
Is that what they call the ether? Is that the ether?
I'm
Is the
not
ether
sure.
different?
I'd have to ask JJ that.
There's a theory about
It's dark matter
the
is what
ether.
they're finding specifically.
Yeah, they were saying that the darkness that you see in space is called the ether, and in a former metaphysical philosophy, they thought that the ether is where all the energy and abundance is from, and where you kind of go when you pass away, and you're waiting for your kind of like purgatory, but also an energy that can be tapped into. I believe I read an article 2 months ago, and I can't remember who the author was, who stated that it was disproven that ether even existed. So now I'm wondering if that's kind of like, oh, whoops, guess what? Ether is or dark matter, because dark matter's everything in the universe has its exact opposite. So I'm sure you guys have heard of dark matter. It was in the Da Vinci Code, and
There's a lot of research
Angels
being done
and
on it right
Demons,
now.
those kinds of books. And So yeah, so that would be interesting. I think we should look into that and then have a video on that.
Yeah, they
That
said
would be
it's
awesome.
the weight of it, they're finding is 6 times greater than all of the mass of the rest of what's visible. And that really ties in directly with another aspect of metaphysics, which is the different levels of energy. Now, some people are able to see auras, which is just an electromagnetic field that can be measured. And we both have that ability, but we also can teach people to do that as well, because anybody can learn to see it. We use such a small portion of our eyes, just as we use such a small portion of our brain. I think it's about 10% of our eyes that we actually use for sight. And so it's about learning to tap into being able to see that energy that's all around. And equipment can test all of it now too, so it's just fascinating. But we're really all one. That's where I was starting at with this concept, is that we're really all one. So whether it's in the galaxy or the solar system or us as humans, and for people that are, when you're working on enhancing your ESP, it's about tapping into that oneness, because we all have energy that radiates off of us. All trees, plants, animals, everything that's alive has an energy that radiates off of it. You can actually test it out at home right now. If you put your hands together and just kind of start feeling as you drift them apart. If you're not feeling that energy right away, rub your hands together, because that's going to increase that energy as you rub your hands together. And then just slowly pull your hands apart, and you'll feel as though there's a force that's pushing them apart. That's the electromagnetic energy that you're generating. There's
Two opposite ends of a magnet. It's going to feel like that, just a little bit less. Almost like something spongy in between your hands, just kind of pushing them away. And it's beyond body heat, because we can go like this and we can feel our body heat. But when you start to pull it apart and you're feeling that energy,
that
it doesn't really decrease, and it really does. It's almost like if you're putting two positive ends of a magnet, trying to get them together, and they won't go. That's what it's like.
Exactly, and you just kind of push and pull it back and forth, and feel, especially as you get out of that body heat range, and just notice how you can almost feel as though you're molding a ball. And so if you have something where you have an upset stomach, or your throat is sore, or something like that, this is tapping into natural healing energy. So you can make that ball, rub your hands together, make that ball, and then draw that over to the part of you that is sore or not feeling well. We can get more into that when we talk about chakras in a different episode. But that's just one way to tap into that energy. It's the same type of energy that batteries use. There's that positive and the negative flow, that current that's generated within ourselves as well. I was just watching the other day, it was really interesting. Crystals is another big part of metaphysics, but there's science behind that. In World War II, a lot of the radios that they were using were not powered by electricity or batteries, they were powered by crystal. And it was I don't know if I can remember the name, but like Geolin.
Because there's a
crystal or
lot of
something like that.
crystals and minerals that do have a radioactive charge, and so that's why it's illegal to own some different types of minerals and crystals, because of the radioactive charge to them. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's dangerous. It's just the fact that it has a radioactive charge, and that's part of the reason why quartz crystal is such a great programmer. And this is fire quartz that we have here. But it's a great charger, because you can charge it with your own energy, and you can kind of program it. And they're actually starting to use quartz crystals in technology as well as
They're
diamonds.
making computers out of them now too.
Yeah.
And the memory.
They have a lot of memory. We're talking about over like, what is it, 20 terabytes? Like it's huge. The memory in these suckers. And if we could just tap into those,
I know.
could
Right.
you imagine what would happen?
Exactly.
Like the information
So-
we would get on the formation of the Earth and.
Right. It's so exciting.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's really amazing the way they're working to see how they can get the memory encoded in the crystals and then retrieve it through the rest of the computer. It's fascinating, as well as the power that comes up from them too.
Right.
And that's why people use them for energy too, if you need an energy boost within yourself. Just one other aspect of metaphysics. There are so many different branches of it, and there's science behind each of these different branches. We're learning more and more at a rapid rate. certain parts of the country, certain parts of the world seem to have been really keyed into this sooner. It seems like, to me, it's just more recent that the Midwest is really catching on. It seems like the last 3 or 4 years I'm seeing this big current where it's finally opening up in this area too. So it's
Absolutely.
just fascinating.
Now there's a story that I want to share with you guys that I heard from listening to Les Brown, who is a motivational speaker. And he has been doing it for, I don't know, like 30 some years. He shared a story. And I want to share this story because I think it's kind of important to what it is that Angela and I are trying to accomplish here. And it's about this little boy and his friend. And him and his friend were playing on the ice. And one of the little boys fell through the ice and fell underneath the ice. Now there were no other adults around. So the little boy climbed up a tree, broke off the biggest branch he could find, climbed down the tree, slammed the branch into the ice and broke up the ice and saved his friend. Now when the adults finally came, they said, how could a little boy so tiny, and he was like 6 or 7, break down that big branch off the tree and then go and break the ice? And another adult came up and said, well, that's because nobody was there to tell him that he couldn't.
Exactly.
So this is about keeping an open mind and learning something new. And you can apply it to your life no matter what walk, spirituality, where you live, no matter what. And you can honestly change and empower yourself. So if you're going through a hard time and you need a little bit of guidance, definitely check out our channel. Definitely go to Earth and Sky. Please subscribe and like us and share us with your friends. We are trying to invoke change and love and evolution in humanity, and we are both holy love generators, and we like to assist you in becoming your own holy love generator. So don't let anybody tell you that you can or cannot do anything. It doesn't matter how impossible it is.
You are limitless.
That's
you
right.
absolutely have all of the potential of the universe right within you. Everything in the universe is in you. You are created from stardust. They've proven that our base, of who we are, is stardust. And so you are completely limitless. Definitely allow yourself to open up to that potential. Don't allow fear or any of those other negative things to hinder you, because you can do it. We believe in you, and so we want you to believe in you as well. And tell us what your page is as well as we're closing.
My page is the Minds, Body, Spirit Healing by Deanna Zayats. And one of my favorite quotes is that the only reason why things are impossible is because nobody has done them yet. So even if somebody's telling you that something is possible or impossible, don't listen. It doesn't. It's only impossible because they don't believe it can happen. It really, truly can happen.
Absolutely. You can create your own luck. A lot of times people will ask how I can be so lucky when I enter into drawings and things like that. Well, it's all about manifesting. It's all about creating what you want in your life, and you have unlimited potential. I know that when I was really sick, there were a couple points where I was carrying extremely heavy furniture, and JJ would say, who moved the furniture in the room? And I'd say, well, I invoked the angels, and they helped me because I wanted it changed. Now this is when I couldn't lift my own glass to drink it sometimes, and so you really can do anything. You can ask the angels to help you. We'll talk a whole bunch about angels and metaphysics as well later. But for now, we are just about out of time. Please subscribe to us on YouTube at Earth and Sky Center, and like our Facebook page as well. On YouTube, you can hit that notifications button, the little bell that's right next to the subscribe button, and choose how often you want to get our notifications. Until next week, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Love and bless. Mwah!